Welcome to discussion 22, where we will still be discussing Number of the Stars, but also using that Kertzer excerpt that you received last time around, and that is linked at the very bottom of this video for leading our discussions today. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Kertzer excerpt, but then we'll talk a little bit about an Anne Frank excerpt that I have, as well as a graphic novel, Mouse, excerpt that I have for you as well. All three of these things are on that handout, and I really recommend that you either download that and save it or print it for your own use. This will be something that could appear on your final exam. So these little excerpts that I have pulled onto this slide are just smaller excerpts from the larger excerpt that you have on this document. So these are the ones that I really want to focus on and want us to think about when we're doing our discussion today. So I'm going to quickly read through them just so you are thinking about these ideas as we are going through this video lecture, and so that when you get down to the discussion later, then you have had some time to think about those and how they apply with Number of the Stars, and what we do when we're teaching Holocaust or World War II literature to students, or talking about it with young children in general. So really something that I find really poignant about this is, how do we tell children about the Holocaust without terrifying them? And what kind of knowledge do we convey when we are determined not to frighten? Okay, so there's kind of a dichotomy there, or not a dichotomy, but a catch-22 of how can we not frighten children when talking about the Holocaust, which is something that is so atrocious that happened, but at the same time not diminish or minimize how awful it was when we're trying not to frighten them. So that's something that I want you to think about. The next little bit is, the very fact that we want to tell children stories about the Holocaust suggests that we think there is a lesson to be taught. But what is the lesson we think they will learn? I have no doubt that we can indeed tell children stories about the Holocaust, but I remain ambivalent about the result. My memories caution me that children's needs to protect themselves, a need reinforced by their adult storytellers, desire not to recreate the child listener, the fear that the Nazis created in her, may mean that the only way children can and will hear these stories is through strategies that inevitably diminish, distance, and distort. Okay, so that kind of goes along with the first excerpt, thinking about how can we tell these stories that are still true and authentic to what happened, but aren't diminishing what actually happened. So this last little bit, if we persist in thinking that children need hope and happy endings, and I must confess that I believe that they do, then the stories we give them about the Holocaust will be shaped by those expectations, and we will need to consider narrative strategies that give children readers a double narrative, that one simultaneously respects our need for hope and happy endings, even as it teaches us a different lesson about history. So as we go on today with our video lecture, I want you to think really hard about these specific moments in that excerpt and think about how they shape how we teach children about the Holocaust and Holocaust literature. So I wanted to show you this quote from Anne Frank, which can be found on the second page of that handout for today. And I think it's really poignant because a lot of times Anne Frank is pictured in the media or in our culture as this very sweet, innocent girl who did not understand the atrocities of the war, etc., etc. But I want to point this out because this shows her with a lot of agency and understanding of what is really going on around here. So she says, "I don't believe that war is simply the work of politicians and capitalists. Oh no, the common man is every bit as guilty. Otherwise, people and nations would have rebelled long ago. There's a destructive urge in people, the urge to rage, murder, and kill. And until all of humanity, without exception, undergoes a metamorphosis, wars will continue to be waged, and everything that has been carefully built up, cultivated, and grown will be cut down and destroyed, only to start all over again." So you might think about how that impacts the way that we think about Number of the Stars itself, but also even how it may be a relevant quote for our world today as well. And then the last is a very short moment in Mouse 2 that is talking about the father that is on the left-hand side of both of the frames and what Auschwitz felt like. And so he's trying to convey that to his son, who is writing this text, Art Spiegelman. And so you can see, he's trying to convey what Auschwitz felt like, and this is the only way that he can think about how it felt like to be there. So we've still got this idea of trying to convey what the Holocaust was like for the people that went through it, and how we can do that in a secondhand retelling of what that was like for people.